Hello and welcome to Pock and Rob. This video is something that I do every year. I go back and do a re-ranking of my favourite albums of 2 years previously. So this is 2023 Redux. This was the first time that Joel joined me on one of my end of year rankings, and so he is also back to re-rank his top 15 albums of that year.
Yep.
So let's dive straight in with our number 15s. And my number 15 was originally 14 on the list. I don't think I've actually listened to the album since, but I remember being surprised about how much of a good time I had listening to it. And it's Elle King with Come Get Your Wife. So this was snarky country. Elle King is best known for doing the song X's and O's. I really, really like the track Tulsa on that, which is all about her having her partner doing the dirty on her with another woman from Tulsa, and you just have to read the word Tulsa backwards to get what she thinks of her. And I think that's really actually very clever songwriting. You worked it out? What Tulsa backwards is?
Result.
Tulsa. Think about it.
Tulsa. Ass.
Ah. She thinks about the woman who...
Ass hat.
Tulsa. Oh, grammar school.
Aslet.
A slut.
Ah.
Now that took far too long.
Yeah, because I'm not dirty-minded.
But
Even though
what a
people-
clever piece of songwriting.
Or
So she
definitely
never
as well.
actually says that person is, but it is very clever songwriting. Your number 15, Joel.
My number 15 is actually a tie between something I forgot to re-listen to and something I did listen to for the first time this go around, and it is a tie between My 21st Century Blues by Ray and something that will come up later on Dad's list. So My 21st Century Blues was Grammy nominated. I think it might have won, and the best track is the opening track, Oscar-winning Tears, which definitely won an Oscar because she then...
An Oscar?
Not an Oscar, Grammy, because she then posted on Twitter about Grammy-winning Tears.
Okay. My number 14. I don't think I've listened to this album since I did my ranking, but I had a brilliant time with it, and I would like to get a copy at the right price, but I don't think it's worth the vinyl unless it's a really right price, and that is Road by Alice Cooper. But this album was so much fun. So stuff like White Line Frankenstein and Big Boots and I'm Alice and Welcome to the Show. Pure fun as an album. It's not going to win any, well, probably shouldn't win any awards for a great rock album, but it was great fun to listen to. So if I see that at the right price, I will definitely be picking up a copy.
Yep. My number 14 is I think the biggest fall off from my original list. It was originally 6, and it was Think Later by Tate McRae. Tate McRae as an artist in general has kind of moved down my priority to listen to list, especially with her album this year, which was not good.
Spoilers for our 2025 list. It won't be in it.
It might actually, unless because this year's not been good.
Not been a good year. Okay.
And X's is still strong. I put it as my 4th favourite song of last year, of 2023 originally. It's not that. And Run to the Hills is just as good as it used to be. Other than that, the album has soured a little bit, which is why it's at 14.
I can think of a better song called Run to the Hills, but let's move on.
Yes, I agree.
My number 13. I'd originally done a top 20 and I'd placed this at 18 because there was some albums I kind of wanted to mention. And it's Broken by Desire to be Heavenly Sent by Lewis Capaldi. Now, when I first listened to this album, I thought he was a Pound Shop Ed Sheeran. I've since discovered that the Pound Shop Ed Sheeran is Ed Sheeran, because Play, his album this year, is terrible. But this is actually a really sweet album. And I don't know whether it's me being a dad, but I just kind of want to parent this guy. I mean, he released the album, and then he basically had major depression issues and stepped away from the limelight. And you kind of want to give the guy a big hug and tell him everything's going to be all right. and this is all over this album, really, when you listen to it. So Forget Me and Pointless. Oh, and the really nice Wish You Were Best. Wish You the Best, rather, which is a little bit like Adele's song on a similar title, Someone Like You. And that gives me like happy feelings. It's a decent album. And I did say at the time, I think I could imagine this climbing higher, and so it has proved.
My number 13 is, my number 13 is the biggest fall off, actually. I got it wrong. And it is Diamonds and Dance Floors by Ava Max. I thought it was a really good pop album originally. I think it's a good pop album now, but nothing particularly special. I've become a lot more aware of the very high amount of sampling that is used on this album, and her first as well, which knocks it down a little bit. And also, I'm just not as into mainstream, this kind of pop as a genre as I was in 23. Still, Weapons is a great song.
Oh, Weapons is a really good song.
Weapons is a really good song. Sleepwalker's good.
Diamonds and Dance Floors is a pretty decent song as well.
Yeah. The entire first side is quite good. The second side, not so much. Yeah.
At my number 12 is an album that I actually forgot to include the first time round. And it's Can't Hide Country by Emily Ann Roberts. I came across it as a result of Facebook kind of throwing a video clip at me of He Set Her Off. And I then watched the entire video, which is just great fun. The song is... It wouldn't be... we had a joint best song of the year, which was Charlie Puth, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Featuring Dan and Shay, and in your case, Sabrina Carpenter. That's not how this works. This could have rivaled it, that song, had I remembered it at the time. I think it's probably number 2 on my list of the whole of 2023, because it's such a good country song, and it lifts the whole album. But there's other good stuff on there as well. I haven't listened to it particularly recently. You can't buy, to my knowledge, a physical copy of it. I would like a CD copy of it, which I don't think exists. But it's a decent record. I wish she'd actually put out a full album this year, because I think that would have been in contention. Did you even consider that album?
I completely forgot about it.
Your number 12.
My number 12 is a new entrance, because I didn't know of the artist at all at the time, and has since discovered them. I discovered them last year. It's Gracie Abrams with Good Riddance. I think it's a good album. It's doesn't have as many standouts as her album from last year, but Will You Cry and I Know It Won't Work are both really, really strong songs, and it's just vibey.
My number 11 is The Lathams, From Nothing to a Little Bit More, their sophomore release. This was your joint 15, you said, didn't it?
Yeah, this was my joint 15, because I really didn't like it originally, but I completely forgot to re-listen to it. I've started liking the Lathams in general a lot more since then.
And we've seen them live.
And I did a quick skim through before we started this, and was like, yeah, this... even though I haven't properly re-listened to it, it definitely deserves to be on there, so I gave it the joint 15th spot.
Yeah, we saw them live as well, supporting Keane last year.
Yep.
Struggle, Say My Name, Sad Face Baby, Turmoil, Facets, Lucky Bean. Great songs on here. Spoilers for my 2025 list. I do think this is their weakest of their 3 albums so far.
Yeah, agreed.
But this was my number 11. It was originally number 12, so it's basically more or less stayed exactly where it was.
Yep.
Your number 11, Joel?
My number 11 was originally my number 9, and re-listening to it, I remember liking it a lot more than I did originally. I think I just have stronger feelings on a lot of these albums than I did originally. And that's Snow Angel by Renee Rapp. The first half is really, really strong, with the wedding song and Snow Angel in particular. The wedding song is really, really beautiful, at least the chorus is. And Talk Too Much is also a strong album opener, but the second half is not as good and gets a little bit derivative, dancey, which is not what I really expect from this type of album, which is much more Gracie Abrams style, Billie Eilish style pop, but the second half isn't really that.
Okay. My number 10 Originally, I'd rated this at number 5. I think it's tumbled down because it's a long listen, and it is I.O. by Peter Gabriel.
Double vinyl.
It is a double vinyl. It is a double vinyl worthy because it is over a 65-minute album, I think. An album that has been over 30 years in the making, and had a very odd release schedule. So there are 2 versions of this album out there. I have got the dark side mixes, there is the light side mixes, and if you bought a box set, you also got the inside mixes. Great songs on it like Panopticon, The Court, the title track I.O., Olive Tree, and I think it's a good Peter Gabriel album. At some point I will do my Peter Gabriel album ranking, and it will be certainly top half. I just think there's albums that I have gone back to more over the course of the last couple of years. But when I put I.O. on, it is like... It's a Peter Gabriel album, therefore to me it's a kind of comforting blanket. It's my number 10.
My number 10 was on my original list at number 7, and so has fallen a little bit, and it is Unhealthy by Anne-Marie. It's a really strong album, but has some really weak tracks, is how I would describe it. The first track is alright, but it's very short, it's only a minute and a half, I think. But track 2 and 3 are both... They get on your nerves a lot. But Haunt You, Trainwreck, and particularly Unhealthy, which is a really, really strong song, all elevate the album higher. And then there are several other good songs like Cuckoo and Grudge. Okay. So yeah, it's really good album with some really low points.
My number 9 appears later on someone else's list.
My number 9 also appears later on your list.
Oh, okay. My number 8 is The Returner by Alison Russell. I've heard very little about this album, or it being talked about. Now, her debut, Outside Child, I only found because of it being on a Guardian list of the 50 best albums of 2021. So I was stoked for The Returner. I was actually a little bit fearful about whether or not I was going to like it, which is, I haven't had that experience with an artist for a while, and I loved it. I loved it way more than Outside Child, and all the comments that I have seen about this album are that they said it was a disappointment. I massively prefer this. So there's fantastic stuff like Springtime, The Returner, Eve Was Black, Demons, which is a gorgeous track, Shadowlands, Stay Right Here. It's a gorgeous album. There are no men on this record. All of the instrumentation is played by women. And I think this is a deep, rich and rewarding album that I think the critics got wrong. The Returner by Alison Russell is my number 8.
My number 8 appears later on your list.
Oh, got to go again then. My number 7 is Luke Combs' Getting Old. So this forms part of a duology. The previous year he released Growing Up, which is kind of like a slightly good time country album. Then he's got Getting Old, and if you get the 2 albums side by side, you get his whole face. One side of the cap says Growing Up, this one says Getting Old, and he's happy looking on the first half of his face and sad. It's really clever piece of marketing. It's a good double album. Fast Cars is on here, which got to country number 1, which is something that Tracy Chapman said she never expected any of her songs to do. There's a couple of songs like See Me Now, which I think is probably about his grandparent. And there's also Where the Wild Things Are. Because it's a double album, it can be quite a long process to listen to it through. But I think this is a good country album. Luke Combs, my number 7.
My number 7, it has been listened to by absolutely no one in this audience or you, and it is Please Stop Breaking My Heart by Lauren Cimarelli. It was originally 14 on my list, but since has risen a lot. I've listened to her in general a lot more.
You must be one of her biggest fans in the world.
Oh, I have an app called Airbuds, which, or at least I used to, I don't have it anymore, which allows you to see other people's listening history from your friends. But it also gives you awards when you're high up on an artist's particular listen. listening history. For 6 months, I was her number one listener. out of everyone on Airbuds, not on Spotify.
Oh, okay.
But on Airbuds, I was her number one listener.
I wonder if we could tag her in on this video somehow and increase her reach by about 300 subscribers.
Yeah, sure. So yeah.
Okay. You have played that to me, haven't you?
I don't think so. I really like R.I.P. I really like Ruin Me. Brown Mascara is really good, and Lockbox is also really good.
It's pronounced mascara.
Mascara, okay, sure.
My number 6. I was debating about whether or not this was actually going to make my top 15 until I listened to it again last night.
Actually,
purely ahead of this video.
She sings it as mascara.
Does she really?
Yeah. Let the brown mascara grinding down.
Oh, that's just an American voice, surely. Mascara.
Yeah, she is American.
Yeah. Okay. My number 6, like I said, wasn't going to appear on. It was debating whether it was. I listened to it again last night. Pretty Vicious by the Struts. I've said before, Luke Spiller, the lead vocalist of the Struts, he's one of these people that I could listen to them sing the songbook, the phone book. I think his voice is incredible. I just discovered, as a result of listening to this and looking up and seeing how successful it had or hadn't been, that he released a solo album this year, which I have yet to listen to. So he may appear as a solo artist in my 2025 list. I don't know yet. But I found this a good time. I like Queen. I like rock music like Def Leppard. And it's that kind of genre. It's the kind of genre that's right in my wheelhouse. Really good tracks on this are things like Too Good at Raising Hell, Pretty Vicious is on it, Bad Decisions and Better Love. And it's, if you like Queen or Def Leppard or that kind of slightly bombastic rock, I think you would like the Struts. And like I say, Luke Spiller's vocals are amazingly good. My number 6.
My number 6 is another band that most people in the audience probably haven't heard of, and it is Join the Club by As December Falls. You put me onto these people, even though you hadn't listened to them.
Facebook again, tiny little clip. I thought this is up his alley.
You heard a tiny clip, and this album was meant to be being given away for free, but it was like £6 postage, so what was the point? And when I first listened to it, I just kind of liked it. Nothing special, so I obviously didn't think it was worth it. But I re-listened to it October of last year, and it clicked. All of their other music also clicked at about the same time, and yeah, it's my number 6. It's got some great tracks. Carousel's really good, Mayday's really good, Alive is really strong, and the one that was originally the track that I had heard that I clicked with me the first time was Go Away and I Can't Sleep. Those both clicked with me the first time, right in the middle of the album, which is what made me go back and re-listen to it.
We've got our top 5s to go, but before we do that, I'm going to remind you to subscribe if you haven't already done so, to click the thumbs up to like the video. That really helps with YouTube algorithms and other people seeing it. The bell to receive notifications of future content. The share button for anyone else who might like this video that you think might want to see it. There's also, I understand this thing about hyping. And so if that button's available, please have a click of the hype button.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't know what it is either. We're also, before we go in and do our top 5s, we're going to talk about some honourable mentions. Now, you've kind of had a bonus one by having 2 at your 15, haven't you?
Yeah.
But what are the ones that, on a different day or a more recent listen, might have made it in?
So, there were 4 from my original list that didn't make the cut for this one, and they were the album by the Jonas Brothers, which was originally 10, Broken by Desire to Be Heavenly Sent, Lewis Capaldi, which he had on his list, which was originally number 11, but I think has grown higher than Jonas Brothers. Higher Than Heaven, Ellie Goulding, which was originally my number 12, and Subtract by Ed Sheeran, which was originally my number 13. So, those 4 have all moved. And there are also 3 EPs that I just want to mention.
Oh, okay.
There's Alchemical by Dove Cameron, which is like sinister sounding pop, if you describe it as that, and it's a really strong really strong EP. Spotify considers it an album, but it's an EP. It's 8 songs. And then Big Dumb Heart Parts 1 and 2 by Jenna Rain are both really wholesome and happy.
My honourable mentions, some things that I dropped out, one of which will get mentioned by you a little bit later
Two
on.
of them will
Two
be
of them.
mentioned by me.
Yes, two of them will be mentioned by you. So I'm not going to mention them here, but I will refer to them. The other one is Trust Fall by Pink. That could have possibly taken the number 15 slot from El King, and I did debate quite closely because there's some really good songs on Trust Fall, not least the title track. And the other one I'd mention would be Diamonds and Dance Floors, which Joel's already had on his list. That, I think, where did you place it? 14 or 13 or something?
13. Yeah, 13.
I found other things that I enjoyed a lot more. I didn't place Diamonds and Dance Floors that high originally. I think I put it at 19 last time I did this video. So, top 5. My number 5 is, for me, the best album by this artist, even though their career started in the early 90s. Blur, The Ballad of Darren. The triumphant return of Blur. We didn't know that they were going to do anything further after the Magic Whip, and they came back with their tightest, best constructed album of their entire career. There's a problem with Blur albums that they often have some faintly annoying little vignette tracks on it that take you out of the experience. The Ballad of Darren has none of that. It is tight songwriting throughout. So we have got stuff like The Narcissist, St. Charles Square, Barbaric, Avalon. And I do genuinely think this is the best Blur album. And yet, I would still say there are Blur albums that I find more enjoyable and more fun, like The Great Escape or Modern Life is Rubbish. But I think this is the best album that they ever did. Whether or not they will ever do anything else again, I seriously doubt. But Ballad of Darren would be a good way to sign off their careers.
So, my number 5 has already appeared on Dad's list.
So yeah,
he didn't talk about it, obviously.
My number 9,
Mimi Webb, Amelia. It's really, really strong pop album.
it's a really good pop album.
The new album, not as good. Still good.
And that's possibly why I only put it at number 9, is I think that new album has made me like this one ever since. Plus, I don't own a copy. If I owned a copy, I'd probably listen to it.
I still really like this album. I don't think the new one has. I still think the new one is stronger than I think you do.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But this has way more standouts.
Last Train to London.
Last Train to London is one of my lesser favourites on this album, despite being a really strong song. My favourite.
Is It Possible?
Is It Possible is really
Red
really
Flags.
good. Red Flags was my in originally that year.
As well, really.
House on Fire is great. Other Side, the opening, is really strong. And my favourite song on the album is the closer, which is the title track, Amelia. It's a really beautiful song.
It's a really good album, actually, and I keep an eye out for that on vinyl. I think it's worth the vinyl,
Yeah.
but I only at a price that I am willing to pay. So on that album, there is a track called House on Fire. So we're going from House on Fire to an album that contains a track called Burning House. It is Anxiety Replacement Therapy by the Lottery Winners.
This was further up on mine.
What was your number?
Number 9, I think.
Number 9.
Yeah, 9.
I think this album is probably... It's one of the reasons why I wanted to redo the 2023 list, particularly. I'd originally put this at number 8. It's now my number 4. There is life affirmation all over this album. And if you're going through a difficult period in your life, if you're suffering from anxiety, then anxiety replacement therapy kind of touches on that. It picks up on stuff like medication for it. There's a song right here called Sertraline, which is an anxiety medication. We've got Burning House, which I mentioned, which is sung by the bassist and female member of the band. And there's something about this band that, as a result of listening to our anxiety replacement therapy, which came because I'd heard it got to number 1, but I couldn't find it anywhere, and I found it on Spotify and listened to it. and watch the video for Letter to Myself, which features Frank Turner. That has sparked a love of this band, of the Lottery
They're
Boys.
a weird band, but yeah, they are.
They're not a weird band. They're a
nice.
standard 4-piece band, but there's
The vibe they go for isn't like a well-known or common vibe. It's a strange
it's
thing.
a friendship vibe. There's something in this band that you can tell in the way that they play, in the way they speak in interviews, the way they are with each other, that they genuinely like each other. And I'm looking forward to this band keeping going, or as I should say, given 2025, keeping on. But it's your number 9, wasn't it?
Yeah. Originally, I didn't put it on my list. I listened to it, and I didn't think much of it.
Yeah, you did.
I decided to re-listen to it this year for this video, and it was wholesome and happy.
It is. It's a growing album, and wholesome and happy is a good way to describe it.
Yeah. As is their new one, but
We'll come to that when we do the 2025 list. Absolutely, definitely. Spoilers, it's on my 2025 list. Go on.
it's on mine. But again, this year's not been very good. My number 4 was originally my number 1, and it is So Much to Start for Stardust by Fall Out Boy. Great rock album. Not as much rock as some of their other stuff. There's a lot of pop influence compared to other albums, and even then, some people don't refer to Fall Out Boy as rock. But it's a good album. I think my favourite tracks are definitely Flu Game. Flu Game's great.
I think that's the one I liked on it.
Yeah, I really like Fake Out, and the one that's kind of snuck up on me is Hold Me Like a Grudge. I think that's grown to be my favourite track on the album, because it's kind of cool guitar riff, fast singing, catchy chorus that's very short and goes into the guitar riff. Yeah, it's grown on me quite a bit, but the album itself has dropped a bit.
I think that's one of the albums where I'm not a fan of the lead vocalist's
Yeah,
style.
I understand that.
My number 3, the other reason why I really was looking forward to doing my Redux 2023 list. I placed this at number 10. I'd heard it about a week before I did the list, and I knew I liked it. What I didn't expect was how much this album was going to grow and really infuse into my brain. Joe Jackson's What a Racket. So the conceit of this album is that Joe Jackson discovered lost music hall songs written at the end of the 19th century by a character called Max Champion. And he decided to run it as a review. The truth is, they're all original songs in a music hall style, done by Joe Jackson. But they are brilliantly written. They are so clever. And it's not a comedy album, but there's humour written throughout it, as there is in most music hall stuff. The Bishop and the Actress. You may have heard that there used to be a joke about the actress said to the bishop, and it's usually risque humour. And it's all about double entendres. A kind of humour that is now very much frowned upon and possibly cancelled, but it's really great song. Think of The Show is fantastic. The Shades of Night, beautiful song, all about going for a walk in the evening in London and then looking and seeing your paramour in the arms of somebody else. And because the shades of night had not been pulled down over the window. Such a clever songwriting stuff. And it's my most fun album of 2023.
Did you do that deliberately, by the way?
I didn't, but as I was saying it, I knew that I had, because
my
I know you're number 3.
It's Paramore.
Yeah.
This was originally my number 2. The reason it's kind of fallen down is because at the time, the only other Paramore album I had listened to was Riot, which is my favourite Paramore album, and I originally compared this as weaker. But since then, I have listened to all of their other stuff, and this is second weakest. It's a strong album, not as much pop punk as most of their other stuff. except After Laughter. After Laughter's completely pop. But yeah, it still has some really great tracks. This Is Why is the title track, and
I do like This Is Why.
This Is Why is really strong. You really like Big Man, Little Dignity. I really like Running Out of Time and Figure Eight. But the ones that have grown on me the most have been The News, which is the second track on the album and touches on quite a sensitive topic of the news is useless. It just tells us information that we ignore, more or less. And then the other one is Crave, which is the only track on this album that I don't think I've ever skipped when it's come up on my Spotify playlist, somehow. And I've got a long Spotify playlist.
My number 2, which was lower on your list.
Yep.
Power to Play by McFly. I have grown to really admire McFly, having once considered them just to be a pop boy band. They're not a boy band because they play all of the stuff themselves. They're a pop rock band. They just happen to be successful at the ages of 18 down to 16.
Which was my number 1 genre.
Power to Play is an 80s hair metal infused record. So you can tell that they used to listen to stuff like Poison and Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses. I don't think they quite go to the level of Iron Maiden and proper metal, but they said that this is the album that they went back to the music they loved to create their own versions of it. So this is why you've got stuff like Where Did All the Guitars Go? Land of the Bees is great, and I'm Fine, which is a Dougie Pointer led song, bit sweary, but it's really good track. But the peach of them all is Honey I'm Home.
I prefer
Honey I'm Home's a great song.
I prefer Where Did All the Guitars Go?
McFly's Power to Play, my number 2.
Speaking of Olivia Rodrigo, biggest upset of this list is Olivia Rodrigo's
upset? Okay.
Yeah, that's what it means.
Biggest climber.
Yeah, that's what an upset is.
This was in my honourable mentions.
It was originally my number 8, and it's got shot up all the way to number 2. I didn't listen to it for almost the entirety of 2024 after we did the video, the original 2023 video, and I re-listened to it about the same time as I listened to Join the Club, so October, November last year, and it fully clicks. Like, I liked it the first time, I loved it, and it's just gotten better every listen. All American B, the opening track, is great. I'm not going to swear. Bad Idea Right.
Good song.
Awesome. I Know I Should Stop, but I can't. At the start of the second verse, best 2 seconds of 2023. Vampire.
Now, Vampire was on my list. I think I placed it either second or third as my best song of the year. Vampire I described as masterful songwriting, and I stand by that. Ballad
of a Homeschooled Girl is really good.
For me, the album does not reach the heights of Vampire once that's gone.
Getting Back is really strong. I think there are other slower songs on the album similar to Vampire that are about the same level. I prefer the pop punk stuff, which is why Bad Idea Right is my favourite song on the album.
Number 1. I'm still cross that this isn't on your list, actually, because you've barely given it a chance. But this is, if you've watched my top 50 albums of the decade so far, this was number 2. This is a 10 out of 10 album. Lemon Twigs, Everything Harmony. I am not the only person who has put this as the best album of 2023 when I watched back some of the videos on that. The Lemon Twigs are a duo. They are brothers, Brian and Michael Daddario. They are steeped in the music of the 60s and 70s. Their influences are so large on their sleeve, but what they create is something new and at the same time incredibly familiar, if you like that kind of music yourself. When Winter Comes Around, real contender for 2023 Song of the Year for me now. I don't think I put it in the list last time round. Corner of My Eye, In My Head. The best depressed song I've ever heard, which is Every Day is the Worst Day of My Life, which is the sole lyrics of the song. But misery that sounds so beautiful. It's incredible. What Happens to a Heart is fantastic. The title track, and every time I put this album on, I find myself thinking, I've forgotten how much I like it, and I know how much I like it. It's really, really strange record. It's great. Everything at Harmony by the Lemon Twigs started a strong interest in this band, and it's still going. Everything Harmony, my number one.
Well, it's fitting that your number one wasn't in contention for mine, because my number one wasn't in contention for yours.
Oh, it was not.
Maisie Peters, The Good Witch. Originally, my number 3. There are only 3 or 4 albums that I've listened to where you could pick one. You could pick a song from the back, and I could tell you how it goes. And this is one of them.
From the back.
Pick a song from pick a song from the track list, and I could tell you how it goes.
But you meant the back end of the album.
And the other 3 are probably all 21 Pilots.
So this is your most listened to album of the year, would you say?
This is my most listened to album of 2023. Every time I re-listen to it, a new song clicks if it hadn't already. And obviously now every song is clicked, so that won't happen anymore, but there'll be another song that will be in contention for my favourite song on the album. The song that I usually can't name, even on really strong albums like Guts and This Is Why, is usually one of the last few tracks, because final tracks aren't always the best. But History of Man is a beautiful song. The opener and title track, Good Witch, is great. You're Just a Boy and I'm Kind of the Man is really fun. The biggest... Therapy is my favourite song on the album, but the one that has grown on me the most is easily Wendy. It's a beautiful song. My number one.
That concludes our 2023 Redux. Thank you for guesting, Joel. Joel will be back quite a bit over this month because we will be looking at our review of 2025 and our lists for that. We'll be back soon with another video, but until then, I'd remind you to subscribe, like, hit the bell, share the video, find the hype button, and thanks for watching.